everybody. Looks like we've got a few people joining us already. I saw some of you were patiently waiting in the waiting room there, so thank you for joining us. We'll give everybody just a few more minutes to come on in. Hopefully everybody's getting the notifications. I'm guessing that you all are, since you're here nice and early. You guys don't want to miss out on anything, so that is awesome. I love to hear that. Love to see that you guys are here and ready for more education today. Got some fun things to share with you guys today. Some fun stuff about our sale that's going on as well. So I'm going to share some information with you guys today. Let's see who is joining us. We've got Ellie. Hello from Canada. Welcome from Canada. I love that. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Harmon, hey, Jen Pie, Riley, Katrina, Top Nail, you're slacking. You're lower in the chat. You used to be first on the list. I'm totally kidding. It's fantastic to see you. I am so glad that you're here. Lots of familiar names. Awesome. I love it, you guys. Let's see. Trinidad. Oh my gosh, Shannon Ruggs from Trinidad. Welcome. Jen Pie from Scotland. Oh my gosh, fantastic. You guys, I know, I read through the names. I read through from where everybody's from. Oh my gosh, Luca from Hungary. I know I do this every time, and people give me a hard time about it because they sound like, you know, it's the Mr. USA pageant or something. I don't know. But I love to see where everybody's joining us from. So thank you all for joining us. Welcome. Nova Scotia, UK, and Abu Dhabi. Oh my gosh, Northern Ireland, New York, Texas. Oh my gosh, you guys, awesome. So excited to have you guys here today. So let me just jump right in and we'll get started. So what I'm going to be working with today is some of our SlickPour colors and our conversion. Now, the reason that I wanted to bring these out today is because we've got a great sale going on and we've got a bundle deal that is including all of these colors, a protein bond, and okay, you guys, I have old packaging, so please don't yell at me for the old packaging. I've got new product waiting, ready to go, but I'm still using up my old packaging. But I'm going to be using our conversion base and conversion top, okay? So you guys, this is the package deal that is available on our website, and I've had a lot of people messaging me asking, what the heck is this and what do I do with it? So today that's what I'm going to go through, and I'm going to show you what you can do with this whole bundle. All of these colors, the protein bond, the conversion base and top coat is what's all together in this kit. So I want you guys to know how to use it. It's a super easy system to use. So I want you guys to be able to use it for yourselves. If you're a DIYer at home, use it in salon to make some really quick, easy money. I know I say easy money, but you know, it's hard work, but this is an easy system to use. It's not complicated. You don't have to do a ton of filing. It's pretty quick. So before I actually get into our little practice hand, let me just kind of swatch these out for you guys. Now, SlickPour was originally designed to be a quote-unquote dip service, okay? So these are actually dip products, dip powders, okay? Now, the reason that we call it SlickPour is because we don't actually take that jar and dip the finger in it. We actually will scoop this out and pour it onto the nail, so it's a lot more sanitary, and I'm going to show you that technique as we go. But what these are is actually an acrylic powder. It's an ultra fine acrylic powder, so you can use them with your acrylic liquid. Now, you guys, one thing to remember with the Young Nails system, we have our let me grab it here. We have our traditional monomer, and then let me grab my other. Oh, I think I left my other monomer in the other room. But we have our traditional monomer in the pink with the pink label. We also have our extreme low odor, which has the kind of that teal, that green label. Make sure that if you're using your SlickPour colors with acrylic liquid, that you're using the pink label. Okay, it's not going to work great with the extreme low odor. So make sure again you're using with the pink acrylic, the pink labels. Okay, so let's swatch these out so you guys can see exactly what colors you're going to get in this bundle deal. And you guys, these are super pretty. It's a great assortment. There's some glitter ones I'm going to show you. There's some reds and pinks and just some really fun colors here. So let me readjust here. I'm gonna zoom on in. And again, you guys, I've got a little bit of that monomer in my Dappen dish here. So again, these are ultra fine acrylic powders. So you can use them with your monomer, just like I'm gonna do here. First color I've got is Sweet Bitter. And this is a really, really pretty, kind of a darker red, but I would say a dark, bright red, if that makes any difference, makes any sense. Whoops, sorry guys, there you go. So, well, looks like I have a little bit of glitter in my brush. Hang on a second. Let me change out my liquid just to make sure that I'm showing you guys exactly what is what, because this product, this color doesn't actually have glitter in it, but you can see, maybe you can't see, I've got a little bit of glitter down in my Dappen dish. So just gonna change that out. I'm gonna soak up that extra monomer. Carol, it says Karen teaches me so many things. You guys, I love to hear that because I love to be able to teach you guys and to give you information and ways to perfect your skill, perfect your techniques. So anybody that has learned something from us, from myself or Greg or any of our other mentors, put in the chat, throw in the chat some thumbs up if you've learned something from us. I would love to see how many people feel like they've learned something from us. Let me know. Okay, so let's try this one again. Let me set that one off to the side. Okay, so again, this one was Sweet Bitter. And open that up. So again, this is a really pretty, kind of a bright but deeper kind of a red. It looks like I still have a little bit of glitter in my brush, but that's okay. And then we also have another red, and this one is called Beauty Mark. Lots of thumbs up in the chat, you guys. That is so exciting to me. That means that you guys are learning. You're learning from our YouTubes, you're learning from our live streams, you're learning maybe on Twitch, wherever you're learning from. I am so excited that you guys are learning from us. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so that was our second one. So two reds, one is a little bit deeper, one is a little bit kind of a lighter. I would say this one, that first one, Sweet Bitter, is a little bit more on the cooler side, and then Beauty Mark is a little more on the warmer side. And then we have a really deep, kind of a maroon. Okay, wait a second, which one was this? American Rose. American Rose. So this one is kind of a maroon, well, Merlot. I'm gonna go with a Merlot. That's where I'm gonna say that one is. Deep Merlot for those wine drinkers. So really pretty there. We've got our Epic Black, which is it's a black. It is solid black. It's not gray. It's not anything. It is solid, solid black. So I love that one. And then we've got kind of a neutral color here. We've got Morning Hike. Oh my gosh, you guys, so many thumbs up in the chat. I love that. I love seeing that. Awesome, you guys. Thank you so much. Okay, so this one is a really pretty nude color, kind of a almost taupey tan. Absolutely gorgeous. So those people that just like a little bit of color, but not anything too wild and crazy, you're gonna love that one. The next one I've got is Road Trip. And this one is, as Tracy would say, it's a dirty green. So it's not, it's not a bright green. It's kind of a, to me, it's a very creamy, kind of a smoky, almost a smoky green. That's going to be my description. So a smoky green. Okay, so those are our solid colors, you guys. Let's get into some glitters. Let's see what we've got for glitter. So we've got Princess Blitz. And this is actually one of my favorites. I think this is super, super pretty. It's got a little bit of that kind of a nude, neutral kind of a tone to it, but then all kinds of sparkle in it. Ginger's Hobby Corner olive green, and Michelle's almost seafoam. Yeah, you guys, I guess that could be I wouldn't say it's an olive green. Maybe it shows different on camera here, but maybe more of a seafoam. I'd go with that. Okay, but then what was this last one? Princess Blitz is just that really pretty nude glitter. And you guys, any of our glitters or any of the powders that say Blitz, anything that says Blitz is going to have glitter to it. Now, that doesn't mean that if there's a color that doesn't say Blitz, that it doesn't have glitter. Did I say that right? But anything that has the label of Blitz is going to have glitter to it. So you kind of have that idea. This one is Maraschino Blitz. Love this one. I feel like this is kind of one of my favorites that I tend to, it's kind of a go-to. It's a go-to for me. This one is a little bit of a finer glitter. Got a little bit, almost a purple tint to the glitter, but kind of that rosy red, pink, I don't even know what you call it. I got to brush up on my colors here, you guys, but love that one. And then we've also got, let's see, Palm Reader. Palm Reader is an absolutely gorgeous one. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's got a little bit of a blue tone to some of those glitters, and this one has some of those rectangular shaped kind of slithery glitters. Say that 5 times fast. Slither glitters with that little bit more rectangle shape to those glitters. Okay, so you can see that one is super, super fun. And then the last one we've got is Goldilocks Blitz. And this one, you'll notice on this one's got some chunkier kind of glitters. With this, I want to make sure, I'm just using the back end of my brush here. I'm just going to make sure that I kind of stir that up, because sometimes the powders in these can settle a little bit, and you want to make sure that that glitter gets mixed up in there so you get a good, good coverage with your glitter. Okay, so again, Princess Blitz, we'll just set that one right down there. All right. Let's see, GGB, I can't wait to see what you create with these beautiful colors. You guys, I'm going to do a super fun nail, super easy nail, and I'm also going to do just kind of an overlay. So something that's very easy, but then we'll do a little bit more with sculpting. And Alicia Wood, are these the ones on sale? Yes, these are the ones that come in the bundle kit that is available on our sale right now. So youngnails.com, you guys make sure to click on the flash sale link, and that'll bring you right to this collection and all of the other great deals that we've got on for the sale right now. Okay, so let's get into kind of the basics of, just toss those there. So the basics of this kit. So the basics of it are pretty much a dip service. And I say quote unquote dip service because, again, we don't dip, we pour. But I'll show you that in a second. So let's go ahead and just start by prepping our nail. Now, the demo that I'm going to do first, you guys, is just on, I'm going to pretend that this is just a natural nail. So I'm not building out an extension. I'm just doing this as just a natural nail, just kind of an overlay or a dip service on my natural nail. Okay. And Natalie Joseph, wow, glitter's more beautiful. Yes, these glitters are so pretty. You guys, we've got so many different of these SlickPour colors, but these are just the ones in the bundle. So if you love the SlickPour, you love the product, we've got a ton more colors that you can find on the website too. So it's not just limited to what I'm showing you here today. We've got a whole bunch more. Okay, so just like we do with any service, I'm going to go through, push back my cuticles, and I always tell you guys, when you're practicing, still go through that kind of motion of pushing back the cuticles. Now, does our trainer hand here have a cuticle? No, but when you get into that habit of pushing back those cuticles, you're always going to remember to do that, okay? So go through the motions of it so that you don't forget. And then I'm coming in with my sanding band, and this is a medium grit sanding band. I'm just going to go right up around that cuticle area, just kind of little baby circles, and then I'm just going to kind of feather that bit back and forth, okay? And what I'm doing here, I'm not actually coming across and back and forth like that and grinding on the nail. I'm going to slow this down. So what I'm actually doing is I'm coming across and I'm picking up my bit. Come across, pick up my bit. Come across, pick up my bit. And what that does is A, it's going to be a lot more comfortable for your client, but B, it's also going to keep from building up heat on that nail, okay? If you come and grind across there and never lift up your bit, that's gonna be friction on that nail, okay? And by just kind of feathering, we're gonna be lifting up our bit and we're not gonna be causing any friction, we're not gonna be causing any heat on that nail. So make sure that you're just kind of using that feathering motion, okay? Okay, let's go ahead and dust off our nail. Gonna dust off, and I like to dust in the direction that that nail grows so that we're not pushing dust down into our sidewalls, okay? You wanna make sure that you're getting those sidewalls cleaned out as well, so make sure that you're dusting forward. Melissa Rodriguez, Kira, I'm not sure, Kira may be in the chat, but Kira is, oh, let's see, Young Nail says, who's Kira? Kira is our wonderful oh, what is her title? I forget what her title is, Kira. I'm sorry if you're out there. Social media coordinator, I think is what her title is. And she helps out a lot with our social media and helping on Facebook and Instagram and all of our wonderful social media. So, all right, what I just did here, I grabbed my swipe. Let me show you guys what I got. So I've got my swipe. So this is something that you may want to purchase along with the kit today, but we're just going to take a little bit of that swipe on the top of my brush, use that to dust off the nail, cleanse that nail, get all of that dust off of there, all the germs, all the bacteria, anything that's on the nail that we don't want on the nail, pretty much swipe is going to clean that off. Okay. Now in the kit, you do get a bottle of Protein Bond. Protein Bond is our bonder, so this is going to leave kind of a sticky surface on the nail. And it works like a double-sided tape. So it's going to stick down to that natural nail, but then it's going to leave a tacky surface for it to grab onto your product. Now, if you guys have been watching our videos and our live streams here, you'll notice that whenever we do an enhancement, an acrylic or a hard gel, we always do 2 coats of Protein Bond. When I'm doing my conversion with my SlickPour, I really just use 1. 1 is enough for this product. If you have clients that may have a little bit more issues with lifting, then you could go ahead and do 2, but usually with the conversion gels, 1 is just fine. Okay. Let's see, somebody's asking, are you selling that kit? Yes, everything that I'm using here, so all of the SlickPour glitter or colors and glitters, the conversion base and top, and the Protein Bond all come together right now as a kit on our website. So this whole thing does come together. So you guys, when we're done with the stream, head over to the website and definitely check that out. Okay, so once again, you guys, I still have our older packaging. So when you do get the new conversion, it's not going to say caption anymore. It's still the same thing. So those of you that have been around a while, if you still have your caption conversion, it's the same thing. It's just now going to say conversion. Okay, so conversion base is what we're going to start with. And I'm going to put 1 coat of our conversion base onto the nail. So I'm going to take a good amount of that product. Let me come in here. So I'm going to take a good amount of that product. I'm going to brush on a nice even layer of my base coat. And what this is going to do is it's going to give kind of a protective layer to the nail. Okay, so I'm not going to go right into my colors just yet. I'm going to do that base coat, and then I'm going to get that into the light here for at least a 30-second freeze. Now, if you're working on the other hand, I always say have one hand in the light while you're working on the other. That way you can kind of alternate back and forth, and you're never going to be wasting time waiting for that light to cure out, okay? So 30 seconds at least for that base layer, and then we'll move on. So again, that base layer is going to give our nail a little bit of a protective layer. So depending on how you're going to be maintaining these nails, if you're going to file it off, having that extra coat of the base on there is going to give you a layer that you're not going to file off. So you're going to file down to that layer of base when you're removing your color, okay? Okay, so what color should we do? Let's do one of the reds. How about we do Beauty Mark? How's that sound, you guys? And then I promise I'll use some glitters and fun things a little bit later. Okay, so let's see here. So we got Beauty Mark here. Let's see, somebody's asking, conversion gel works with any dip powders. You guys, I'm sorry, I can't say yes or no to that. We don't test our products with other brands, so I can't say for sure if it's gonna work or guarantee that it's gonna work. So I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer for you, but I do know that our conversion works great with our SlickPour. So that's what I can tell you. Okay, so we're gonna come in, so our first layer of base is set. We're gonna come in with a second coat of our conversion base. And this one I'm gonna apply just a little on the thicker side. I'm not using a lot of pressure as I'm brushing over. I'm gonna leave a good amount of that base on the nail. Now, I don't want so much that it's gonna run or kind of slide down the sidewalls, but I do want it a little bit thicker, okay? I'm gonna take my, and again, you guys, this is why we call it SlickPour, not Slick Dip, because I'm actually going to take my cuticle pusher, and you guys use a clean cuticle pusher. Don't use the one that you use to push back their cuticles, because that kind of defeats the purpose. But use a clean cuticle pusher, and I'm gonna scoop up a little bit here. Let me come in a little bit more. There you go. That's a little bit better view. And I'm going to scoop up a little bit, and I'm going to start just kind of sprinkling this. And I like to start right up around my cuticle or my sidewalls, and then up to my cuticle area, because what that does is it kind of will seal those edges a little bit so that it really stops that base coat from moving. And then I'm going to just sprinkle through the rest of the surface of the nail. Okay, so again, by coming around from kind of around the perimeter of the nail, it's going to keep your base coat from running down into the sides or the cuticle. Now, I do have a little bit of product, a little bit of that base coat that got down on the sides. You guys, that's why I love this tool. And this one comes in our, let me grab it here real quick. This one comes in our rose gold. I'll show you that in a second, but our rose gold implement kit. Okay, so it has a great little kind of an edge on the back of it so that you can clean up anywhere that maybe you got a little bit of product off the edge or something like that. Okay, Luca is asking, is the base a regular UV base coat? This is our conversion base. Okay, so it's a conversion gel is what we're using today. Okay, so I've got my product on there. It's kind of absorbed in. So all that powder has absorbed into my base coat. So I'm just going to tap off any extra of that base or any extra of that powder. Okay. Then we're going to get this into the light again. And come back here. Okay, so that's going to go back into the light for a minimum of 30 seconds. Now, if you're using darker colors like this one, sometimes I'll leave that in there for a full minute, because that way I want to make sure that everything is completely cured out really, really well. If you're working with maybe some of the glitters or something that's going to be a little bit more sheer, those can definitely go in for the 30 seconds, and it's going to cure all the way when we do our next cure. But when you're working with some of the darker colors, maybe the reds, maybe the black even, I would say maybe go in for a full minute to cure it all the way through, okay? All right, so that's our first coat. So when that comes out of the light, I'm going to grab my manicure brush, and I'm just going to kind of dust off anything that hasn't adhered, okay? This is cured. It's hanging on to that powder that's in there. We're going to go ahead and do a second coat of our conversion base. So just kind of repeating the process. Now, I do want to do one thing. I want to grab one of our little lint-free wipes. So I like to have one of these just kind of handy here, and you'll see why in just a second. Okay. So again, I'm going to grab another coat of our conversion base, brush that through the whole nail, get a nice, good, even layer. Making sure if there were maybe any areas that maybe didn't quite get as much color on there as you would have liked, go ahead and just really make sure that you get that area covered, okay? Let's come in a little bit more. So again, that's one more coat of our base, and same thing. I'm going to take a little scoop right up around the sides, my cuticle area, down the other side, and then just kind of pouring that over the rest of the nail. Again, giving it a little bit of time to absorb. Just a couple of seconds is usually good enough, and then tapping off that extra. Okay, once more into the light for at least another 30 seconds. At this point, I do like to cover up my jars, get those out of the way just to make sure I'm not going to make a mess. Now, I got the little lint-free wipe out, and I didn't even show you why. So I don't know if you can just kind of barely see there's a little bit of red residue that as I was brushing over the nail, it kind of picked up a little bit of that powder. So I like to give my little brush a wipe on that lint-free wipe. That way, when I do go back into my bottle here, it doesn't get that red down into the bottle. So I forgot to do that. I meant to do it, but I got carried away. So, all right. So that was with conversion base. Now, we're going to go one more time with our manicure brush. If you got a little bit of extra dust on there, a little bit of extra powder, you can dust that off. And I'm going to come back with my conversion top coat, okay? So again, the conversion base and conversion top both come with this collection for the sale. So it's right there for you, ready to go. And again, we're going to just polish on nice thin even coat all the way through. Okay. Now, again, let me grab that little lint-free wipe. I'm going to wipe that brush out just to make sure that I've got all of that cleaned out of there. This one is going to go in now for a full 60 seconds, okay? And, whoops, sorry guys, I just bumped the camera here. So this one's going to go in for a full 60 seconds to cure it all the way through, okay? Now, when this does come out, conversion base and top are a soft gel. They are going to have a tacky surface on them. So when it comes out of the light, I do want to use the Manicure cleanser to remove that tacky surface. And I'm again just going to grab one of our lint-free wipes and use that to clean it off. Now, the reason that I'm not using Swipe to cleanse off that tacky surface is because Swipe it has a little bit of acetone to it. And being a soft gel, we don't want to use acetone on there because that can start to, if you use too much of it, it can start to kind of dull the surface or give you not as high of a shine of the surface. And it can also start to kind of break down that gel, okay? So the Manicure cleanser, this one is an acetone-free cleanser, so that's why we're going to use this to take off that tacky surface. Okay, now, with that said, at this point you have a couple of options. If everything looks nice and smooth and even, everything's perfect, you don't have any lumps or bumps or anything like that, go ahead and cleanse, and then you're good to go. Okay, you can also add a second coat of the top coat if you feel like you need to, because sometimes, and again, I don't know if you guys can see this on camera, even if I zoom in really close, sometimes I still see just a little bit of texture. Okay, if I see a little bit of texture, I can do a second coat of top coat, cure it all the way through, cleanse with the Manicure cleanse, and you're good to go. Now, if you do see a little bit of a lump or a bump or something that's uneven, I'm going to cleanse this nail off. You can go back in with your file, you can go in with a 180 buffer and just smooth that out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my file here and I'm going to kind of shape it up a little bit, just kind of clean up those edges, make sure everything is nice and crisp, nice and shaped. And then again, if I had something that may have not been quite smooth enough, I've got just a brand new 180 sponge buffer, and I can use that around the edges. I can use that throughout that whole surface. Now, I know some people tend to buff after their powder application, but before their top coat. But personally, I feel like I get a smoother application by buffing after my top coat. And sometimes it saves me a little bit of time, okay? And that way too, I don't buff off any of the colored powder, okay? So I always buff after that first layer of top coat. I'm gonna dust the nail off. This time I'm gonna use a little bit of the Manicure cleanse to just do a quick cleanse of the nail. Again, making sure that there's no dust or anything on there. Now, we're gonna do one more coat of top coat, but I always like to do one more coat of Protein Bond just to make sure that there are no tacky, sorry you guys, just to make sure that my top coat sticks on really well. There's just a little bit of dust left over. I just wanted to make sure that that has cleaned off. And again, one more coat of Protein Bond just to make sure my top coat adheres really, really well. And then we're gonna go back to our conversion top coat and we will seal this with one more coat. Somebody's asking, what is the grit of the file? The file that I was using to shape the nail around the edges was a 150 grit, and then the buffer that I was using was a 180 grit. So let me get this into the light and then I'll show you both of those so you guys can see exactly what I was using. Okay, so again, this is gonna go into the light for that full cure of 60 seconds, okay? Okay, so the file that I was using is a 150 grit. It's got a good texture to it. It's going to file nice and easy. And then the other one that I was using is our 180 sponge buffer. You guys, we've got some great files. They're very sturdy. They're not too flexible, so you can get really good pressure. If you're filing on the nail, you can get good pressure. And I love the shape of them too. You notice that they're a little bit more narrow at the ends and then a little wider in that middle area. The middle area is where you're going to be using them most, but having that little bit of narrow is a little bit easier to hold, but then you've got all that filing and buffing potential, okay? So great files and buffers. And then also, let me show you guys, I was going to show you the rose gold implement kit that I was using. So this tool comes in this kit, and my nipper from this kit is in the disinfectant right now, but it does come with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tools and then a nipper as well. Okay, so it's a great implement kit. I don't know what that is. It's a great implement kit, cuticle pushers, great for working up around that cuticle area, getting that all cleaned out. So this is an awesome toolkit for you guys as well. Okay, so those were the things that I've been using here. Our nail is cured out. So again, I'm going to use a little bit of that manicure cleanser, and we're going to cleanse off that tacky surface, not a service. Okay, cleanse that really, really well, and that's going to leave you with a nice high gloss shine and color through the nail that's not going to chip. Okay, what do you guys think? Does this look like an easy enough process? Does this look like something that you could do either on yourself or really quick and easy on your clients? Let me know. What do you think? Give me a thumbs up if this is something that you think you could do. Let me know. I'd love to see. All right, so while you guys are giving me a thumbs up, as I hope you are, I am going to start prepping my second nail. Okay, so our second nail, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these SlickPour colors as acrylic. Okay, so just like I was showing you when I was swatching, we can use these colors as acrylic. So because we're going to do acrylic, I'm going to go through and I'm going to prep the nail. So just like we did before, I'm going to push back that cuticle. I'm going to clean my natural nail. I'm going to remove that shine here, make sure that there's no shiny spots, and then we will dust off our nail. Okay. All right, you guys, it looks like a lot of you think that you can do this. I love that. Those of you that are new with us, if you haven't subscribed and you're loving our channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We would love to see you back again. We'd love to see all the newcomers, all the new faces. Well, I know there's not really faces that I can see, but new names. So I love to see all the new names. Okay, so let's see. Somebody's asking, this is only on natural nails, or can I do this on acrylic nails? So what I just did here, that first demo I did, is something that I would just do over a natural nail because it does add a little bit of thickness and bulk to the nail. Not a lot, but a little bit. If you were to do this, say I have my nails done already, if you were to try to do this application on top of that nail that you already have, it's probably going to get a little bit too thick. So I would recommend just doing this over a natural nail. You could do it over an enhancement, but just be careful that it doesn't get too thick, okay? Okay, come back to our swipe. We're going to cleanse that second nail. And again, you guys, the prep is the same all the way through until the protein bond. So same prep that I just did on our first nail. With the protein bond on this one, we're going to be doing an enhancement. We're going to be sculpting a nail. So on this one, I'm going to do 2 coats of my protein bond, not just one like I did on the first nail. So 1 coat. And I always start kind of in the middle of the nail, working back to the cuticle area so that I don't flood the cuticle. And then go through all 10 nails, and then you can come back and do your second coat. Again, all the way through, starting at that center of the nail, working back towards your cuticle area. Okay? All right, somebody's saying slow down. You guys, I've got a lot to teach you today. I can't slow down. And you guys, this, if you're working in salon, you got to work quick. You got to make your money. You got to get those clients in. Now, with that said, you want to work quick, but you want to be efficient and you want to do a good job. So I always tell people when you're in salon, the speed, yes, your speed will come, but I want you to make sure that you perfect your technique first. And that's why we're here teaching you guys, so that you can perfect your technique and you can learn how to do things the right way and the easy way and the fast way. Okay, so what I'm doing here, you guys, I grabbed one of our XL forms. I'm probably not going to be creating a nail quite this long, but I'm loving these forms, and yes, they are on sale this week, so check those out on the website as well. Now, if you're not doing an extension that is this long, I'll show you how to shorten it up, so not to worry. But I just pinched those little tabs together at the ends. I'm going to pop open this little perforated top right up here, And then we're going to get this form right up underneath that nail. So I'm going to just kind of start it, and you guys can see, let me turn this on the side here. I'm going to start this at a slight downward angle. Okay, so I'm going to start right about here, and then I'm going to start to just lift up until that form comes straight out from the nail. Okay? All right. Hey, Bristol, how you doing? All righty, you guys. So again, coming under the nail there, and just kind of lifting up on the end, making sure that's nice and snug right up underneath that nail. And I feel like there's something, yep, you guys, there's a little bit of an edge here. So even on your natural nails, make sure that there's nothing like a frayed nail edge or anything underneath that nail that's gonna kind of interfere with your form application, because that tiny little bit of natural nail that may have been under there, that can interfere, and it can actually cause your form to kind of pucker underneath, and you may not get a good form placement. So make sure you get that form flush up underneath that nail, lift up. Okay, now that fits much, much better. And then we're just going to secure that down on the sides. Now to do an XL nail, you can definitely sculpt that all the way out to the end of the form, but we're not going to do that today. We're going to keep it just a little bit more manageable. So I'm just going to start by pinching that form down a little farther, okay? So you can pinch as far as you want, but you'll still see that you've got those lines on the form to kind of work as your guide, okay? Now, if you don't want that form quite so long, just grab a little scissors and snip that end off. For me, that works a little bit easier than trying to work with the form that long, but I just love these forms sometimes, so I like to use them, okay? All right, let me grab my table wipes, and let's see. So you guys, I know that I've showed you this before, but if you're new to our channel, welcome in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. But the table towels that I've got on my table, I actually cut them into smaller pieces so that I can use them when I'm doing my acrylics, and they work really super, super easy in the smaller pieces, okay? So just a quick little tip there. All right, so I think somebody asked if I could use the green, and you are right on track with me. So I'm going to use the green, and this one was Road Trip. I'm also going to use Goldilocks Blitz. Is that what it is? Goldilocks Blitz. And I'm also going to use Princess Blitz. So I've got 2 glitter SlickPour powders and 1 solid color that we're going to kind of combine together. Now, I am also going to use my Speed Clear, and this is just our faster setting clear acrylic. We're going to start with that. Now, the Speed Clear is not in the bundle deal, but it's definitely something, if you're going to be working with colored acrylics or doing any kind of acrylics, it's kind of one of my favorites. It's kind of my go-to, okay? All right, so we've got our Speed Clear. I've got my Dappen dish with monomer in there. There's a little bit of glitter in there, but that's okay because this design is going to use some glitter. So we don't care if there's a little bit of glitter in that Dappen dish. All right, so I'm going to take and dab off my brush. I'm going to give it 1 press. I'm going to press into my powder and bounce, bounce, bounce to pick up a pretty good sized pearl, because we're going to create a nice long free edge here. I'm going to drain out that extra liquid from my brush. And I think I want just a little bit of a smaller pearl. I don't want it quite so long. Change my mind on that. Okay, so same thing. I'm going to press and bounce, bounce. Okay, that's a little bit better size for me today. So again, drain out that extra liquid. I'm going to set that pearl right up to that natural nail, wipe out my brush. I'm going to start in the center of that pearl, press my product out to the side, and then using the edge of my brush, tuck in, and then press up to that natural nail. I'm going to come all the way back across. Same thing, press in, walk that little bit of product up into the corner, okay? And anywhere that you've got that bulk, walk that bulk up into the corner. Now that I've got my corners, now I can start to kind of press and pull that product forward. And let's create, oh, what should we do? We did a coffin shape yesterday, and you guys seemed pretty excited about that. Should we do another coffin today? Let me know in the chat. What do you think? Coffin today or almondetto? We'll just say almond. Okay, so coffin or almond today? What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. I like to know your input. I like to know what you guys are wanting to see. And you guys, at this point, it doesn't matter which shape we're gonna do. I can create the shape with my electric file. I just wanna make sure that I am getting my sides tapered in, and then I'm bringing my length down. Almond, almond, coffin. You know what, maybe can we do a poll? Our moderators, if you're listening, can we do a poll? Can we do a poll for either coffin or almond shape? Let's see if we can do that. Otherwise, I'm seeing both answers and I can't, it's moving too fast, I can't count. Okay, so one more thing before we actually get into our colors that I want to show you is anytime I'm doing a color or a glitter or something on that natural nail, I pick up a small pearl. I'm going to drop that down. Again, this is still my speed clear. Just that tiny little pearl right down, blend that onto that natural nail. So this is going to help when I change out the design. It's going to allow me to have just that little bit of clear underneath, but then when I have my color on top and I file my color off, I'm going to file just down to that clear. So I'm never going to be filing all the way down to the natural nail. Okay? All right, looks like almond is the winner. Okay, you guys, I guess we're going almond. So at this point though, my free edge is kind of set, so I don't have a lot more ability to reshape that or change the shape at this point, but I'll show you guys how we can create that with our e-file when we're done here, okay? So let's move on to our color and our glitter. Let me open these up real quick. And again, we've got that little kind of a smoky green. We've got our nude glitter, and then we've got our gold glitter. All right, so once again, you guys, you can now see again that those chunkier glitters have kind of come up to the surface. The finer powders have kind of settled to the bottom. So definitely make sure that you go through, give that a good mix up so that you know you're going to get all of the good glitters and colors all together. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Just going to give this a little bit of a pinch before we move on, just to kind of get a little bit of a tighter shape into our free edge. And I like to pinch at this, kind of at this level, because if I wait until the very end to pinch, usually this bottom layer is already set and it's not going to be able to, it's not really going to move at all. Okay, so that is one reason I like to pinch at the end, at the beginning here. Okay. All right, you guys, here's where it gets really fun, is I'm going to do this nail, but I'm not worried too much about a lot of precision. I'm just going to pick up kind of a wet pearl, and I'm going to work that into the nail. I'm going to just kind of let it kind of bleed into place. Wherever it wants to move, it's going to move, and I'm just kind of guiding it. So I'm just kind of picking up all of our different colors, wherever those colors want to live. I know, again, I start to sound like Bob Ross when I do this, but it's true. Just kind of let those colors flow. Again, working a little bit on the wetter side so that they are going to flow. They are going to move a little bit easier. Okay, so just kind of, you can see they're going to kind of move. I'm just kind of tapping them, just kind of guiding them into place. And again, it's super fun. It's very relaxing to me to do nails like this because it's just, there's no rhyme or reason. There's no, you have to put color here. You have to do, whoops, you drop your color into your powder. We'll just leave that one there for now. But yeah, you guys, there's not a lot of rhyme or reason to it. You can get as creative as you want. You can place color. You can let that color run and move and do whatever it wants to do. And you don't have to worry about it. It's going to be beautiful whatever you end up applying. Okay? So just kind of use your imagination, bring color wherever you want to bring color. If you feel like it needs more color somewhere, add a little bit more. Maybe I don't want that much. Just a little bit right up into that cuticle area. And again, you guys, keep adding. If you don't like it, add a little bit more here or there. But once you like it, stop. That's usually my challenge, is that once I get the nail how I like it, I always am like, well, let me just add a little bit more. And then it's like, oh, well, maybe I liked it better before. And that's okay. But I'm, again, just adding small pearls here, letting those blend together. And I think one more little bit of the lighter color right down at the end here, and I think we are good. Okay, so at this point, you guys, I always like to show you when we're doing dimensional nails. Right now we haven't built up any thickness. I know it looks a little bit wonky, but don't worry, trust the process. It's going to look pretty in the end. But I don't have a lot of thickness, so I'm going to cap this whole nail with clear. Let me take out that little chunky monkey out of there. So we'll set our colors aside here. And you guys always make sure that as you're working that you do cap your products so that as you're filing or anything like that, you're not getting dust into your product, okay? I'm gonna just flip my table towel over here, and I'm gonna come in back to my speed clear. Oh, somebody's saying getting Tiffany blue vibes. Yes, this is actually, it's a kind of a Tiffany blue green. I'll say a Tiffany blue green. Kind of a smoky Tiffany blue. There we go. So I'm going to pick up a pretty good sized pearl of my speed clear. We're going to set that right down at the cuticle area, and I'm going to press out that cuticle. I've got my finger angled pretty close to straight down, maybe not quite straight down, but I want gravity to work with me. So that's why I'm angling the finger down. So you can see that product is starting to run down the length of the nail. It's not going to run into my sides or back into my cuticle because it's going with gravity. Once it stops moving, I'm going to lift up, and then I'm just going to blend out just the edge of that pearl. Okay, just the edge. I want to leave that bulk right through my stress area. So that's why I'm just blending out just that edge of it right through there, okay? Melissa Rodriguez, is the SlickPour compatible with the ELO? That is a great question, and unfortunately it is not, okay? The SlickPour is a traditional acrylic, so it's not gonna work great with your extreme low odor liquid, okay? So definitely do not mix those two, okay? All right, I just dropped down my second pearl. I'm kind of blending that back up into my arch, and then we'll pull the rest of that down the length of the nail, making sure to cap all the way through the end of our nail here. Okay, making sure that I've got good even coverage over the whole thing, and then I'm going to have the right structure. Tuck in on those sides if I need to. Then we'll take a look from the side. So now I've actually got more structure to this nail, and again, I know it still looks not perfect, but that's okay because we're going to do some filing, okay? Again, you guys, trust the process. Trust the process, all right? So we're going to let this set, and while that's setting, I'm going to just kind of let my brush soak for just a minute or so, but I want to make sure that I get my brush cleaned out. Okay, so make sure that as you're working, make sure that you're wiping your brush. And you guys, I want you to see something here really quick. Let me wipe this on the right side. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but our brush has a little tiny crimp right in the ferrule like that. Okay, so just right there makes the brush a little bit more flat. When you're wiping your brush, you want to make sure that you're wiping flat with that crimp. You'll also notice that the label on the brush is in line with that crimp. There you can see that little crimp. Okay, you want to make sure that you're always wiping your brush flat with that crimp, not on the edge. So if I turn my brush on kind of a quarter turn, I don't want to be wiping my brush on the edge because that's going to kind of push those bristles out of alignment, okay? So always make sure that you're wiping your brush flat on that edge, and then let's go ahead and clean our brush. So all I'm doing is just kind of swirling it into my liquid. I'm going to wipe out both sides of it, again, flat with that crimp, and then I can roll it back to a nice tight point, and your brush is going to last you a long time, okay? If you always keep your brush in your monomer after you're done working, just for a couple of minutes or so, and then clean it out, wipe out any residue, roll it back to a point, it's always going to stay good for you. And this brush is actually going to last you a long time. I don't even know how long I've had this brush. I would say at least 5 years, and you'll notice it is starting to lose bristles here and there. But a good brush is going to last you a long time if you do take care of it, okay? So make sure you take care of it. Clean your brushes. All right, let's set those aside. Again, closing everything up. Let's see. Damn Tam, I'm late. What is she using? I'm about to rewind the live. Wait, I don't think you can rewind the live, but you can definitely always go back and rewatch these, you guys. We always post our videos so you can go back and you can rewatch them. But what I am doing today, we did a SlickPour with conversion overlay, and I just finished up our conversion and liquid monomer acrylic. So just a couple more minutes to let that set, but our bottom layer is dry. So I'm going to pinch that form together, pull that down, and take that form off. Okay, now I'm going to switch on my e-file here. I'm going to turn to my X-cut bit. And I like the X-cut because I can use that for straightening out my sides. I can get up around my cuticle area. I can get the whole thing in nice and easy. If you're not quite comfortable, and I always tell people this, if you're not quite comfortable with the X-cut yet, try the safety bit coarse. Again, same grit to it as the X-cut. It's just got that rounded top to help you feel a little bit more secure. Okay. So I'm also going to grab my dust extractor here. I love using the dust extractor because it's going to pull away any dust that would potentially get up into my breathing zone. So that is going to help keep my lungs healthy, keep my body healthy. So we're going to turn that on. I'm going to turn my electric file up to about 15,000 RPMs. And let me come in here a little closer. And we're going to just start by straightening out the sides. And turn this, there we go. Okay, so just pulling straight down on the sides, on that left side, and on the right side, I'm going to push back. And you guys, this is where, remember when I asked you, do you want an almond shape or do you want a coffin shape? To do those, they're both the same shape to start out with, but if you wanted more of an almond shape, which is what you guys voted on, you voted for almond, I can just kind of round out this edge a little bit more. If I wanted it more coffin shape, I would have just taken my bit straight across, and I can straighten that edge out just quick and easy that way. So it's kind of an easy trick. So maybe if your client, maybe last minute, she was like, oh no, maybe I just want that, I want that coffin shape or I want that almond shape, you can adjust. As long as you've got your structure through the rest of the nail, you can adjust that, okay? All right, so again, just kind of cleaning up that almond shape. I'm going to turn the nail on the side. See this little bit that's hanging down here? You guys, if you were to hold your file straight out, let me set my e-file down here. If you were to hold your file straight out in line with the finger, in line with that lower, the sidewall down here, you can see anything that is hanging underneath there. There's a good angle. Anything that is below my file here, that all needs to file off, okay? So all of this stuff hanging down here, that all needs to get filed off. So I'm going to use my electric file rather than my hand file because for me it's a little bit easier to do with the electric file. I'm just going to push in and clean that up. Okay, same thing on the other side. And I do turn my client's hands over like this, so that way I can see that my bit is going to be straight in line with her natural nail with that sidewall, and just pull forward. So now my sidewalls are nice and clean. Okay. All right. We're going to turn her finger on the side. I'm going to kind of work from here, and I'm going to work up around that cuticle area, just kind of tapering that cuticle down. Get that nice and thin, almost flush down to the nail. Okay. Right through there. Then I'm going to look from the side view. So this is where you can see that arch. You can see my cuticle area is fairly thin. I've got a little more bulk here, and my free edge is nice and thin. I just want to clean that up a little bit. Make sure that my arch is flowing nicely. Okay? You want to make sure, again, that you've got nice and tapered to the cuticle, a little thicker through that stress area, and then back down, tapered down at that free edge. Okay? Then we're going to look down the barrel of the nail. And let's see, somebody's asking, is that jade? The color that I'm using today was Road Trip, and it's again part of our conversion bundle right now. Okay. So now I'm just going to pull my bit forward, even out those sides. So we've got our top part here cleaned up. Now we're just going to pull the bit, even out those sides with what we've already got cut in to that arch. Okay, this is how you're going to contour the nail. This is how you're going to get everything nice and curved, nice and even, just pulling all the way through. And you guys, I'm not using a lot of pressure. I've got my speed on about 15,000 RPMs, and I'm just kind of making contact and pulling. I'm allowing the bit to do the work for me. If I try to put too much pressure, it's going to probably give me little notches in the nail, and I'm trying to make this as smooth as I can. Okay? All right, so I think we're good. I always kind of come back to that arch view just to make sure everything is looking right, and I think we're good there. So let's move on to our next. Now, usually what I like to do is go back to my sanding band. Now you can go right to your hand file if you want to, but I like to go in with my sanding band, go over all of these same steps just to kind of refine a little bit. Now with my sanding band, I turn my speed down to about 6,000 or 7,000 RPMs. I think I'm on about 7 right now. Just coming up around that cuticle area again, and then following through. And again, this is going to refine a little bit more so that there's less filing to do by hand. Okay? So again, just refining, making my hand filing a little bit easier. Okay? All right. I think we're good there. Now we're going to come in with that hand file. We're going to straighten out our sidewalls. Come in there. We're going to straighten out our sidewalls. Come in at a little bit of an angle here. Depending on what shape you want, again, if you were doing a coffin, you would come straight in like we're doing here, but then you're going to straighten out that free edge. But because you guys chose almond today, I'm going to, again, straighten out my side here. We're going to taper that in a little bit, make this a little bit more almondy shape. I don't want to be too pointed. But you guys, I don't spend a ton of time perfecting that free edge shape from this view, and I'm going to show you why in just a minute. Those of you that have watched our videos, you probably know how we're going to correct that, but don't worry too much about your shaping at this point, okay? I'm going to come up around my cuticle area, taper everything down, making sure everything is nice and flush down to that nail, making sure I don't have any ledges or anything my nail's going to get caught on. And then again, tapering around our sidewalls. Let's see, somebody is asking what grit is the file. The file that I'm using right now is a 150 grit. And I absolutely love this one for acrylics or hard gels. It's got enough grit to where it's going to file, it's going to do the job you need it to do, but it's not overly coarse to where it would be uncomfortable for your client or take down too much product, okay? So again, just kind of contouring through the nail. I'm going to take a look from my sidewalls here, make sure I catch that lower arch and straighten that out. Same thing on the other side. Straighten out my lower arch. Coming straight out from that natural nail, straight in line with the finger. And then I kind of turn this on the side and I kind of look a little bit from the side, making sure that everything is still nice and tapered. So it's still nice and thin at that free edge, a little bit more into an arch up there. Just kind of filing backwards, okay? So kind of pushing my file back to bring that product up to the arch, okay? Now, here's where we check. And this is again why I don't spend a lot of time trying to perfect that shape from the front, because I'm going to turn the nail around and I'm going to look to see what my client sees. Let me adjust here a little bit. So I want to see what my client sees, so that's why I'm going to look from this direction. I'm going to take my side in here just a little bit more to even that out. Make sure that both sides look the same. And you guys, everybody has a dominant side and a non-dominant side, okay? So I always tend to file a little bit better on this side from the front view, and then I can file perfectly on this side from the client perspective, from this view, okay? So it's okay, don't worry. You all have a good side and a not so great side, not to worry. And then I'm just gonna kind of angle the finger down, and this way you can see all the way down that whole barrel of the nail. You can see if there's any high spots or low spots. You can come through, bring your file from this side, come up and around all the way over to this side as you're filing, so that way you can get that really good contour, that really smooth finish, okay? And I think we're good there. I'm just going to kind of rock that up and down so again I can see all the way from cuticle all the way through to the free edge, making sure that there's no lumps or bumps. All right, I think we are good there. We got our almond shape. Let's come back around. I'm going to dust her off here real quick. I'm going to put my table towels back up, give myself a nice clean space to be working on. Actually, let me grab a clean towel here, get all that dust out of there. And then, all right, you guys, those of you that have been with us for a while on our live streams, what time is it? Let's hear the chant. Let's see the chant in the chat. All right, so it is time for top coat. So I'm going to just dust off our nail and again go back to our swipe. Take a little bit of swipe on my brush, dust off that nail, clean all that dust off, and then we'll come back to our protein bond, okay? And our top coat that we're going to be using today is the conversion top coat. So again, this is the same top coat that was in the bundle, so with all of our different SlickPours. Okay, so one coat of protein bond over the whole nail is going to help really adhere your top coat really well. It's also going to kind of hide any scratch marks from our filing. So this is why we don't need to do any buffing at this point. The protein bond is going to fill that in, and then our top coat is going to be super, super shiny. Okay? Yes, you guys, I love it. Love the chant in the chat. Awesome. All right, so one coat of our conversion top coat, and at this point you guys, you could use any top coat that you like. You can use the ultimate finish, you can use the stain resistant, you could use manicure top coat, totally up to you what you want to use. But because I was showing you the bundle today, the SlickPour bundle, the conversion bundle, that's why I'm using the conversion. And I love the conversion top coat because it ends up super, super shiny, and it's even a nice thin top coat. Okay, so great top coat to use. Now again, because it is a soft gel, when it does come out of the light, we're going to we're going to use our manicure cleanse to clean off that tacky surface. Okay, so a little bit of our manicure cleanse. Let me grab one of our nail wipes. And again, I'm just going to take a little pump of that onto our nail wipe here, and we've got just about 30 seconds left on there. So let me see, did I answer some questions in the chat? I hope I answered some of your questions in there. And I'm not sure you guys are talking about a taco, so tacos sound great for lunch today. Sounds great for dinner. top coat, not taco, is our chant. But I don't know, we could chant with taco too. All right, so we've got our nail all cured out here. A couple more seconds to go, and then we'll cleanse with our manicure cleanse. And clean off that, whoops, pop your nail out of there. Okay, clean off that top coat, that tacky surface, and we've got our beautiful kind of summery, you know I did a kind of a beachy nail yesterday, but this is giving me a little bit kind of beachy vibes too. Okay, so you guys, I hope you enjoyed our live stream today. Hopefully you got to see all of the great products. Let me show you really quick one more time what comes in that bundle. So this is the conversion bundle that we've got on sale right now. We've got 10, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 different SlickPour colors. We've got a conversion base coat, we've got a conversion top coat, and you guys, again, I have old packaging, so disregard the caption. So conversion base and top coat and a protein bond. All of that comes together in this collection so that you can do both of these nails that I showed you guys today. So hopefully you guys have fun with it. Hopefully you can get inspired and do some great designs with it. And you guys, as always, make sure to let us know and tag us if you do post pictures with all of our products. We love to see what you guys are doing. So hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you guys again back here tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.